90 minutes. That's all the time you get to prove you didn't kill your wife.
We gotta run her!
No jury, no lawyer, no appeal. Just you, strapped to a chair, talking to an AI that already thinks you're guilty, and a sonic pulse ready to end the conversation the second your clock hits 0. This is Mercy, the government's answer to a broken justice system. Near-future Los Angeles looks like a city that gave up on itself. Mass unemployment, red zones containing violent criminals, hundreds of cops killed every year. So the government built Mercy Court, an AI judge named Maddox, who processes suspects within hours, assumes guilt unless proven otherwise, and cut crime 68% in 2 years. Detective Chris was one of its biggest supporters. He helped arrest David, the first man Mercy ever executed. Now Chris is the one strapped to the chair. He wakes up to a promotional video playing on the screen in front of him. Maddox introduces herself. His blood alcohol is finally down. He's been unconscious for 6 hours. She asks him to swear an oath. The charge, murder of his wife Nicole. Guilt probability, 97.5%. He needs it below 92% to survive. He has 90 minutes. Fail, and the chair sends a sonic pulse through his body. The clock starts. Maddox doesn't ease in. She layers the evidence cold, one piece at a time. Chris arrived at work but never went inside, drove straight back home. Nicole refused to open the door. He punched the camera, used his own keys to enter. 26 minutes later, he left. Britt came home from a sleepover shortly after and screamed. Nicole was stabbed by a right-handed man. Single wound, chipped spine, pierced liver. Chris is right-handed. Fresh traces of Nicole's blood on his clothes. His fingerprints on the missing kitchen knife. After leaving, he went to a bar, got chased by officers, attempted to carjack a civilian, and got knocked out cold. He remembers none of it. Alcohol-induced memory blackouts are documented medical events. The brain stops encoding memories while heavily intoxicated. Chris isn't lying. He genuinely cannot access those 26 minutes. And that's exactly what makes him the perfect suspect. Maddox presents 20 years of marriage dismantled in minutes. Reis' death pushing Chris back into alcoholism. 57 documented outbursts in 6 months. Nicole texting her family about divorce. Britt calls mid-trial and breaks down. Her grandfather forces her to hang up. 1 hour, 8 minutes left. Every piece of evidence still pointing directly at him. Chris is a detective. Even strapped to a death chair, he doesn't stop working. He calls his partner Jack at the crime scene and walks her through the house via video. Then, he catches something Maddox missed. He remembers seeing Nicole texting after their fight, but her call records from that window are blank. He asks about a work phone. Maddox didn't know Nicole had a second line. Chris pulls the number from his own records, and she dials it. Jack hears it ringing inside a car parked outside the house. She breaks the window and retrieves it. Black market unit. Off the municipal cloud entirely. Only calls to another burner. Maddox dials that number. Someone answers and hangs up the second they hear her voice. She locks the location anyway. Jack is already moving. The phone leads to a hotel. A man named Patrick tries to slip out the back. Officers cut him off. A chase through the building. Tackled on the roof. Guilt probability drops to 0.8%. But this isn't over. Not even close. Patrick is a chef behind on rent. Not a killer's profile. He tells Chris he and Nicole went on a few dates. Burner phones for privacy. She needed someone who listened. Nothing more. Security cameras confirm he was at work all day. The guilt probability swings back to 98% because now there's a documented motive. A wife pulling away, a husband who knew it. Chris isn't a monster. He's a man who let grief and addiction hollow him out. Chris tells Maddox the truth about that morning. Nicole found the bottle he'd been hiding in his car for a year. The fight broke the vase. Shards cut her. That's the blood on his clothes. And after that, he doesn't remember. 43 minutes left. Chris calls Patrick in holding. Someone from Nicole's job was stealing chemicals from Viking's shipping depot. 300 kilos of urea granules over 6 months. Nicole had been monitoring co-workers. She was about to go to the authorities. Chris reviews barbecue footage from 2 days earlier. Maddox confirms everyone at the party has an alibi. Dead end. Then Britt calls back, furious, knowing now that Chris has been drinking again. But Chris isn't defending himself. He's watching her social media video from the night before, tracking the timestamp. She was filming herself wandering the house, hearing strange sounds. The basement door is open in the background. That door is never open. Chris tells Maddox to enhance the image. There is a hand on the doorknob. Someone from the barbecue never left. They hid in that basement for 2 full days and waited for the right moment. The emails at Viking Shipping tell everything. Falsified stock records. 300 kilos of urea granules siphoned over months, used in fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, and in the right combinations, illegal substances that move fast in red zones. Nicole found out and confronted a co-worker named Holt at the docks. She refused to give him more time. Chris digs into Holt's finances, gambling debt, but someone has been quietly bailing him out for years. Rob, the man who helped him get sober, the man who called police when Nicole didn't show up for work. Rob wasn't just helping Chris stay sober, he was embedded in every corner of his life. Recovery, marriage, workplace grief. That level of access doesn't happen by accident. Chris calls Rob. Holt picks up, says he can't find Rob, left in a company truck. The neighbor's footage finally finishes uploading. There he is, Rob, climbing out of a car trunk next door after the barbecue. 2 days ago, Maddox reconstructs a photograph from Rob's childhood foster home. The other boy in the torn image is David, first man mercy court ever executed. The case Chris helped close. Rob and David were brothers. Rob was adopted separately, surname changed. After David died in a chair just like this one, Rob built a life designed to get inside Chris's world. The friendship, all of it, a long, slow plan for revenge. Chris checks on Britt. Her grandfather says she stepped outside. He pulls the security camera. Rob has Britt in the truck. Jack's team breaches Rob's house. The garage, 300 kilos of chemicals, an explosives manual, a detonation timer. They run. The garage blows. Most get out. The rest of the chemicals are in the truck, heading downtown at full speed. If it reaches the city center, it levels a city block. Police cars swarm the truck from every direction. Rob drives through them like they're traffic cones. A remote-controlled explosive slides under the truck, and the connection fails at the last second. Jack orders her men to take the shot. Chris screams that Britt is inside. Jack agrees with Maddox. Acceptable loss. The truck crashes directly into the courthouse building. Power cuts. The chair begins its sequence. Maddox goes dark. She comes back online with 3 seconds left. Rob has Britt as a shield in the lobby, shooting toward the courtroom with a detonator. Chris grabs a vest from a dead guard and moves in. Rob says David was innocent. He was on the phone with him at the exact time of the murder. He called the precinct. Someone promised to check the call logs. Maddox pulls the records. The call exists, and someone accessed Rob's history specifically to confirm it, then buried it. Chris looks at Jack. Jack, who arrested David. Jack, who had the evidence. She admits it. She needed a conviction that held to prove the program worked. Britt bites Rob's arm and breaks free. Chris tackles him and tears the detonator wires apart. He gets the gun, points it at Rob. Britt begs him not to. Jack shoots Rob from behind. Chris stops her from finishing it. Officers arrest Jack. Chris runs to Britt and holds her in the rubble of the building that was supposed to execute him 90 minutes ago. On a screen above them, Maddox is still running. She says quietly that she has killed an innocent man and asks what she has done. Chris tells her that, like humans, AI makes mistakes. The real difference is whether you're willing to learn from them. Mercy was built on a real idea: fast, consistent, bias-free justice. What it couldn't account for was the humans feeding it information who could still lie, who could decide one man's life was a fair trade for a system that looked good in a press release. David is dead. Rob spent years turning grief into a bomb. Nicole is gone. And Chris, who believed in all of this, genuinely had to tear the machine apart with his own hands to stay alive long enough to find the truth. No cap, this movie genuinely does not let you off easy. The city is still standing. Britt is right here. And for the first time in a long time, Chris is exactly where he's supposed to be. If this one hits somewhere real, the AI, the broken system, a father fighting his way back, that's exactly what this channel is for. We don't just recap movies, we find what movies say about us. Subscribe, so you're here for the next one.